Hello and welcome back. This is Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana, and you are watching Marksman TV. Today we have another rifle comparison video for you today. We are looking at the Ruger Precision Generation 2 in .308 and the Savage Stealth 10BA in .308. We're going to start with an unboxing and then we'll do a detailed comparison from the muzzle end to the butt end of both rifles so you can get a detailed look at both platforms when you're deciding which one would be best for you. We'll go ahead and bring the camera in and get started. Alright, starting here with the Savage, we do have a standard cardboard box. I'll go ahead and open this up. Okay, inside we have the rifle in a plastic sleeve. I'll go ahead and grab that. Pull off this cardboard sleeve here. Go ahead and pull that off. We do have the rifle here. We do have a clear chamber indicator flag here, which we'll pull out the back. I'll go ahead and set this down to the side. Under here we do have the bolt. And we have one MDT plastic magazine. We also have our instructional information and gun safety lock right here. Alright, here we have the Ruger Precision Rifle. It comes in a nice cardboard box with Ruger graphics on it. I'm going to go ahead and flip this around. It does open from the rear here. Go ahead and grab this and pull it open. Inside we'll start with our Ruger instructional manual, some warranty information and other sales promotional type stuff here. A nice poster for you. In here we do have two P-mags, and it does come with two. Okay. Gun safety lock. And here we do have a key mod rail for the, you can mount anywhere on the key mod rail system. Typically used as a mounting point for a bipod. Down in here we will find our bolt. And then we do have the rifle itself. Alright, now that I have the Savage out of the box, I'm going to go ahead and assemble it real fast. All we need to really do is install the bolt and the magazine, which is pretty simple. We'll make sure that the firearm is off safe. We will then pull the trigger and then push down our bolt stop lever here. Go ahead and align the bolt through the rear. Go ahead and release that bolt stop, push forward and turn. Now our bolt is installed. Of course, this goes without saying, magazine just inserts in the bottom until it locks, and we're assembled out of the box and ready to go. The Ruger Precision is just as easy. All I need to do is install my bolt and the magazine. I'll go ahead and take my bolt and slide it in the rear. And go ahead and make sure my bolt handle clears that channel. Go ahead and push all the way forward and then turn down to lock. The stock, then I just need to grab and pull. It is not locked in place. I'll just go ahead and grab that, pull around, and it'll lock in place. I can then take my magazine and insert it through the bottom until it locks, and that's assembled and ready to go. Now we'll get into the overall specifications of the rifle, starting with weight. The Ruger weighs in at 9.8 pounds and the Savage weighs in at 9.2 pounds. The overall length of the Ruger when the stock is fully extended and unfolded is 42.75 inches. When the stock is folded in, the length is 31.5 inches. Moving down to the Savage, when the stock is fully extended out as far as it'll go, it measures in at 42 inches. When the stock is fully collapsed, it is 38 inches. The stock on the Savage Stealth does not fold. Now starting here with the Savage, the barrel is 20 inches in length. It's fluted and made out of steel. It's a heavy contour barrel. The 6.5 Creedmoor version is 24 inches. It does have a 1 in 10 twist and is button rifled. Button rifled basically means the rifles are pressed into the metal rather than being cut into the metal. The The barrel up here is attached by a nut, which is very nice because it can be removed with any standard AR-15 style wrench and rehead space with any AR-15 style gauges. So basically that makes barrel changes to do at home very easy. You do not need to send this off to be re-rifled. And a higher velocity rounds like the 6.5 Creedmoor, that could be more advantageous, as if you do a lot of shooting, you might want to do barrel replacements more often. So that's an option there for you. Up here we do have a threaded front barrel at a 5/8 by 24 thread pitch, and we do have a nice thread protector here. That's great if you want to run some sort of muzzle device on the front, or maybe even suppress the rifle. Up here in the Ruger, we do have a chrome moly and cold hammer forged barrel, which is 20 inches in length. It does have a 1 in 10 twist and uses 5R rifling. 5R basically is there is a 5 groove, so it basically keeps an odd dynamic, which means like an odd number dynamic, which means the lands and the grooves are opposite facing, which puts less pressure on your round, which puts less deformation on your bullet as it travels through the barrel, which is good for enhancing accuracy overall, especially at long ranges. Up here we have a nice muzzle brake provided by Ruger. Definitely a nice addition, something that you will get over something like with the Savage. Not super fancy, but it definitely does enough to mitigate a lot of that muzzle blast and keep your recoil down. The threads underneath are 5/8 by 24. Ruger Precision also utilizes a barrel nut similar to what we see down here in the Savage, which is great to make barrel changes easy and able to be done at home with simple hand tools and simple rehead spacing gauges. The barrel itself is a medium contour. The 6.5 Creedmoor is 24 inches, and the 6mm Creedmoor comes in 26 inches. They discontinued the 243 in place of the 6mm, and that is as of March 2017. Now let's move on to the handguards. We'll go ahead and start with the Savage. Savage uses a chassis system which is an MDT Hunter Stalker model. It is monolithic, meaning the handguard and the receiver are all one piece machined out of a single piece of billet aluminum. We do see that it uses M-LOK attachment points, and it does have a swivel stud, and that would be for attaching a sling swivel or a Harris style bipod. The barrel is also free floated, as it does not contact the handguard at all in any place. It's entrenched and free floating in here, and I'll bring that a little bit closer. So that's a nice addition, of course, very, very important if you want to have a very accurate rifle at long ranges. The Ruger Precision does not use a monolithic system like the Savage does. It is a two-piece handguard and receiver setup. The handguard itself is a key mod setup. The M2, or the Generation 2 I should say, differs from the Generation 1 as the rail on top does not travel the full length of the handguard. The reason they did that is because they found on the Gen 1's long-range scopes, the forward position of the scope would usually interfere with those rails, which would require risers and those sorts of things. So they eliminated that on the Gen 2. I guess they figured they didn't really need that rail space up on the top for a long-range precision rifle, but you do have your key mod adjustment points on either side here, as well as on the bottom for any mounting of any additional accessories that you choose to. So now moving into the receivers, we do have the Ruger Precision up here on top. The upper is CNC machined from a pre-hardened 4140 chrome moly steel, and the lower is machined from a 7075 aluminum, and it is Type 3 hard coat anodized. Back in our AR-15 video, we talked about that anodizing. It's a finish process commonly used on soft metal alloys like aluminum alloys, which requires the finishing substance to be applied, then dipped into an acid bath, and then heated and cooled, and it creates a very, very super durable cohesion, and which helps with scratch and rust resistance. Really, really good form of finishing on soft metals. Moving down into the Ruger Precision, as we went over, the receiver as well as the forward hand grip are one entire piece, one entire chassis, which is formed out of billet aluminum. So let's go ahead and talk about magazines and magazine options. The Ruger Precision does come brand new out of the box with two 10-round PMAG magazines, and the Savage Stealth does come brand new with one MDT magazine, which also is 10 rounds. Now, the Ruger Precision, one excellent thing about this is this does have their patent-pending multi-magazine interface, and what that basically means is this lever, and I'll go ahead and pull this magazine out. So the magazine lever here, I push forward to release. Now what that is doing is that when I'm pushing that, and I'll go ahead and bring this in if the camera can pick it up, So here I realize now that I wasn't pushing hard enough to actuate that little lever on the inside. But when you push on that outside lever hard enough, it'll press on a cam, which will then push the lever on the inside, the lever that I'm pointing at now, which is a lever that locks into side locking magazines. And of course, that lever I'm pushing on right now locks into rear locking magazines, which allows you to use many different types of magazines. Different styles of magazines, and those include AICS, SR25, DPMS, Magpul, and some M14 magazines. For example, I can also take this MDT magazine out and fit it right into the Ruger, and it locks in place. Now, I haven't tried to shoot it with this magazine, but I imagine it would work okay. The Savage magazine system is pretty much proprietary. It doesn't have any of those sorts of features we saw in the Ruger. It will, of course, take the MDT magazines and the AICS aftermarket mags. Moving into the Picatinny Rail on top of the receiver, the Ruger does use a 20 MOA sight base here on this Picatinny Rail. What that basically will give you is an extra 20 MOA of adjustment at long ranges, which is of course optimal for long range shooting. So that's actually an excellent feature that they did place on there, and they really had long range shooters in mind when they did this. The Savage Stealth has a Picatinny rail here on top as well. It does not have that 20 MOA adjustment option on it. However, you do have a nice shelving here for clearance if you're going to use a large long range optic. Moving on to triggers, I have the Ruger Precision Rifle here for you. You do have an AccuTrigger style trigger to it with this little trigger safety. The reason that is there is because when you do get a light trigger on a precision rifle, it's just a little added safety. So if you drop or jar the rifle, it won't accidentally unsear and fire the gun. Therefore, it's just a little bit of added benefit to you. Out of the box, these pull in at about 2 to 2.3 pounds. They are adjustable though, at 2.25 pounds all the way up to 5 pounds. That can be adjusted by the user themselves, and the trigger adjustment tool is actually housed inside a rear compartment in the bolt, which we'll get to in a minute. Here on the Savage, we do have an AccuTrigger. Again, it has the same type of trigger safety, a little bit smoother I find than on the Ruger. Again, the trigger is adjustable at about 1.5 to 6 pounds. The user can adjust that by themselves easily. Out of the box, I think these things rate in at about 2 pounds. Safety on the Savage does use a Tang flip safety. Of course, red means dead. You see that red, you're ready to fire, cover it up, and you're on safe. So the Ruger Precision uses an AR-15 style safety selector, which is at a 45-degree angle, and it is also reversible. This is a little bit stiff, a little bit more stiff than the Tang style safety found on the Savage. But again, being a precision rifle, I don't see that as being a huge issue, as you're not going to be in any position where you're going to need to flip the gun on or off of safe in a very quick emergency style situation. Moving on to the grip, the Savage Stealth uses a Hogue AR-15 style grip, and the Ruger Precision also uses an AR-15 style, very, very similar to what you're going to find on the Ruger AR-556. Moving on back to the buttstock, Ruger does use their own manufactured Ruger Precision stock, and it is adjustable out to length, and the comb is adjustable for height. The buffer tube here underneath is a mil-spec tube, so it can be interchanged with any other of your favorite AR-15 style stocks that can be customized out. Keep in mind though, if you are placing a new stock on here, the bolt throw does need to travel into the length of the buffer tube. Therefore, you cannot put any stock on here that does not allow clearance for the bolt within the buffer tube housing itself. Down here at the bottom, we do have a nice standard Picatinny rail, which could be good for mounting a monopod. And right over here on the reverse side, you'll find a QD sling mount point. And right here is the button that you will push to then fold the stock over. That's also how you remove your bolt. Here on the Savage, we will find a Fab Defense GLR 16S stock, which is 6 position. Adjust just like you would adjust the stock on an AR-15. You will find that it uses a standard AR-15 style castle nut and mil-spec buffer tube. So again, you can switch this out for any other stock option that you would like. Over here, we will find a mounting point for a QD sling mount, and we will find another mounting point over here on this side. Over here on the butt pad, we do have a very nice ergonomic rubber with some very, very nice texturing to it, which would be great for gripping your shoulder. The overall fit and feel of this is really, really nice, really, really solid. A little bit less adjustment customization to this than there is the Ruger Precision, but for some reason I kind of like this style a little bit more. Now moving into the bolts here at the top here, we do have the bolt for the Ruger Precision, and down here we have the bolt for the Savage Stealth. The Savage bolt here has a free-floated head and an oversized bolt handle. Really nice Savage graphics here, which you will see through the ejection port cover. The free-floating head is a good feature. It allows the bolt head to interface freely behind the round as it engages with the chamber, giving a little bit of a nicer, tighter, and more precise lockout. The bolt here for the Ruger Precision is CNC machined from a pre-hardened 4140 chrome alloy. It does utilize a 3-lug bolt face with a 70-degree throw and dual locking cams. It also does have the oversized bolt handle. One other nice feature is I can go here to the rear of the bolt and twist this end cap off and reveal my bolt disassembly tool as well as my trigger adjustment tool. Alright, before we wrap this up, one final note here about the Savage Stealth is it is fully factory blueprinted, which means the receiver face, bolt lug recesses, recoil lug, and barrel lock nuts, basically all those parts they are closely matched and fitted at the factory. That's typically something that people will send off to a gunsmith to have done to make their rifle a lot more precise. It's a nice added advantage that Savage basically ships this out with that already completed. Now, I don't know if the Ruger Precision is factory blueprinted. If somebody else knows that answer, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. Alright guys, well that's about it. Thanks for coming back and checking in with us. Again, this is Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana, and you're watching Marksman TV. If you enjoyed this video, please like, rate, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, leave those in the comment section. We'll see you next time.